This tiny part of the US is trapped inside Canada. To get to the nearest American town, residents have to drive through another country. So, how did this happen? Point Roberts is a small town located on the southern tip of the Tawasin Peninsula in Washington state. It's only about 5 square miles in size and home to around 1,000 full-time residents. But despite being physically attached to Canada, Point Roberts is actually a part of the United States. The reason dates back to 1846, when the US and Britain agreed to split the Pacific Northwest along the 49th parallel. The problem was, the line cut directly through the peninsula, creating a US town that could only be reached through Canada. While many people assume this was a mistake, historians believe the decision was intentional and seen as a possible strategic advantage for the US at the time. But today, that advantage has turned into a major inconvenience for Point Roberts residents. Because the only way to reach Point Roberts by land is through Canada, residents have to cross the border constantly just for everyday life. After elementary school, many students attend school in Blaine, Washington, meaning they cross the US-Canada border 4 times every single day. Many residents also shop at nearby Canadian grocery stores because they're often cheaper and closer than stores in Point Roberts or in the rest of Washington. To make this possible, many residents use Nexus cards, which allows for faster border crossings between the US and Canada. Even then, daily life can still be difficult. Deliveries, emergency services, internet infrastructure, and even grocery supplies all depend heavily on crossing an international border. Then, COVID happened. When the border suddenly closed in 2020, Point Roberts became almost completely isolated. Businesses collapsed as Canadian visitors disappeared overnight. Supply deliveries became difficult, and residents struggled to access basic services. Because many students needed to cross the border for school, special exemptions had to be created to allow school buses through Canada. So, why doesn't the US just give Point Roberts to Canada? Well, the answer is complicated. The residents are American citizens. The land legally belongs to the US, and changing an international border would require major agreements between both countries. Over time, Point Roberts has also developed its own identity as a unique American town separated from the rest of the country. Today, Point Roberts remains as one of the strangest border situations in North America, a tiny American town that relies on another country just to stay connected to its own, all because of one straight line drawn on a map nearly 200 years ago.